Peace to the universal fam. This is Sar Minra of Indigenous People Media Outlet. It's been a while since I did one of these bills, but it's been a topic that's been on my mind for quite a while now. And I've been seeing a lot of people touch on it. And one of the biggest platforms in the conscious community, Black News 102, Saneter TV, he has been going hard on this topic for a while. You know, it used to, it was at one point it was the Hebrews. It was the Kemetics versus the Hebrews. Now I'm starting to see it's the Kemetics versus the Aboriginal / indigenous community. Now, it's been a wide conversation, you know what I'm saying, as far as, you know, Black News 102, they've been on this topic for about a year or two now, if not longer. But for me, just sitting back and watching, if you go to some of my older videos, I've touched on, you know, the indigenous, aboriginal, you know, that concept. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a new subject for me. But by me just sitting back watching, I see that in the Aboriginal / indigenous community, there is a lot of, it's a few different ideologies. I will say that. It's not just one ideology. So say that to say this, I don't agree with everything that every Aboriginal person says. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, we all got the same foundation. And me personally, I like to use the word indigenous. I don't like to use the word Aboriginal because it basically, in some dictionaries and encyclopedias, it refers to the dark people that came from Australia. You know what I'm saying? When you say that word Aboriginal, it refers to them. But Aboriginal also, it does mean, you know, pretty much indigenous or the original man or whatever. And yeah, man, this actual ideology has been in the conscious community for a while. Now, if you follow my blogs or, you know, my builds or whatever, you know that my foundation is the nation of gods and earths. You know, I consider myself to be a 5%er. You know what I mean? So the conscious community was somewhat built off the knowledge of the nation of gods and earths. You know what I'm saying? You have Noble Drew Ali, and you got Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? These are some of the foundational bricks that started the conscious community. But if you know anything about the nation of gods and earths, we teach that the original man is the black man. And we teach that the black man is indigenous to the planet. Indigenous to the planet. So it's no separation between a so-called African and an indigenous person. A so-called African is just indigenous to that land. You know what I'm saying? So no matter where we come from, whether we could trace our roots back to North America, we could trace our roots back to Asia, or we could trace our roots back to Africa, it really doesn't matter because we were the original people on the planet. So when we say that we're indigenous or aboriginal, that's what we're saying, that we're the original people on the planet. Now, I know they like to say that slavery happened. I've seen, this is another thing that I want to correct too. In the Aboriginal community, it's an ideology out of there that slavery started in reverse. Now, this is not saying that there was no slaves in North America. It's just saying that the slavery that happened in North America, it started in reverse. They shipped people out first, and then they started bringing melanated people to North America for slavery. but it actually started sending people to different countries. So that's what that means. That's not saying that slavery never happened in North America. That's not saying that. So that was another thing that I wanted to clear up. And it's a few things out there that's pretty much I heard Brother Jabari, he likes to go in on the Aboriginal movement, but it's like he has most of his premises off. You know what I'm saying? His premise is off. He has a lot of the information mixed up. I don't know if he does that intentionally because he's a very intelligent guy, or if he's just misinformed. But there is no difference between a so-called African and an indigenous person. It's all the same thing. It's just a different title. And when we say that we're indigenous, it's actually a description of who we are. We're not claiming a landmass or anything. That's a description of who those people are. That's not saying that my race is indigenous. You know what I'm saying? That's not talking about a race or a nationality. That's not saying none of that. That's just describing, using a term to describe a group of people. That's all that is. That's not speaking up on a race, or that's not speaking up on a nationality. When we say that we're indigenous or aboriginal, we're just describing who we are, because it's pretty much been lost. Our true identity has pretty much been lost. You know what I'm saying? And we've been given an identity. So we gotta reclaim back who we really are. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta use this indigenous ideology to benefit us. Whether we're gonna get land, or whether we're gonna get some sort of reparations, or whether we're gonna use this to just start our own community, or start our own nation, I should say. So I can go on this topic. It's a lot of a lot of videos being made against and for the Aboriginal movement. Like I said, I like to use the word indigenous. It's less confusion in that term. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. That's all that comes to mind. I'm just basically freestyling right now. Because I've been seeing these videos, man, and I've been wanting to touch on this topic for a while. So I just pretty much freestyled this build. And I want y'all to add on. Let me know what y'all think, and bring the information, man. Leave your emotions at home. When you respond to me, let me hear your information. Because we got a lot of emotional characters in this conscious community, and it's hard to disseminate information when people use their emotions to try to win debates or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And they don't actually bring no information. They just get emotional. It's like whoever could talk the loudest and say the most insults to the other person, that's who wins. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all respond, bring your intellect. And, I'll be more than willing to build with you. And for the most part, that's about it on that topic. I want to make sure I'm not leaving out anything. And, indigenous and African is the same thing. It means the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're indigenous to Africa, indigenous to the North America, indigenous to Asia, wherever you're in, you're indigenous to the planet. You know what I'm saying? So we need to stop playing these word games. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not getting nowhere. That's holding us up. We need to unite as a people. We need to come together under this indigenous movement. That's the most revolutionary movement that it is out right now. The black consciousness, that was the 60s. That was the 60s, and You know, that information, it was good for them, but now we're in 2018 and that information has to be upgraded. It has to be upgraded. So I got a question for Saneter right now, because I heard him ask a lot of people this on his show. So Saneter, Black News 102, do you think your information needs to be upgraded? Your black conscious information, your teachings that you got from Khalid Muhammad, your master teacher, do you think those teachings need to be upgraded? That's the question I have for Saneter, Black News 102. You know? So yeah, man, I probably do another build on this topic, because this is a very broad topic and it's hard to touch on everything in just a 10-minute video. But for now, I'm going to leave you with that. And I just want to say peace and love to Universal Family. I'm out.